Hello, hello. Is there anybody there? And can you hear me? So, hey Alex, can you hear this all right? Does it sound okay? So, this is a live stream that I said I was going to do a while back when I would get to 5k subscribers, and I did a little while ago. And because I'm always a little bit nervous about these things, I'll wait until I'm a good bit by it just to make sure I don't fall back under it and look a little bit silly by doing it. Hi, blah, blah. Hi, Mike. And tonight seemed like a good night to do it. So, with hardly any notice, I just popped on. I'll see if I can fix the echo. Hi, Wolf Gratz and BJ London. So, I've got a couple of questions here. One from Brian at the start that I'll dive into. If money was no object, what would you be doing right now? Probably exactly what I'm doing right now. Watching movies and then jumping on YouTube, because that's what I've been stuck doing all week, to be fair. I've done isolation for a week and I've done nothing but watch movies. Since Monday till today, I think I've watched 34. And it's good to get a break from the TV screen and jump on YouTube. Hey, Dennis. Yep, buying even more movies. Another question from Brian. Which 4 directors would I have on my Mount Rushmore? Bit of a difficult one, I suppose. I think I'd definitely put Hitchcock up there. He's one of my favourites. Tarantino. John Carpenter, definitely. And the 4th spot, probably Steven Soderbergh. Seems good enough. Hi, Paige. So blah blah spent 1,500 quid on Blu-rays since the start of lockdown. I think if I had the money, I'd probably do the best. Alex the Bird, what would I consider Charlton Heston's best role to be? That's a hard one. I don't know what his best role is. I know I'm going to have to think about that one. It's probably going to be Planet of the Apes. That's my favourite movie of his. So I would say that's my favourite of his performance. So you got your 13 partials in, Fatherstack, at last. Wolfrats, do you have a problem with Tarantino? Sumo Blast, yes, I have ordered The Bride with White Hair. I've seen it's been delayed. It's a movie I've wanted to see for a while, but it's been delayed because it's been approved by Ronnie Yu, so fair enough. If they want to hold off, I'm happy to do that. Soylent Green is pretty great. I've only seen that for the first time a year or 2 ago, and I really did enjoy it. So yeah, it's pretty good. I can't remember his cameo in Wayne's World. So we've actually, you didn't mind Pulp Fiction. I like Tarantino's brand of movies. It's my kind of thing. It's one that I kind of got into as I was getting into film, and his influences seem to be a lot of movies that I really like. So because they're throughout his films, it makes it my kind of stuff. With probably the exception of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I liked 90% of. The other 10% could have been jettisoned at any point, but most of it was pretty good. Let's see. Oh, so Jambo Shango's here. Tarantino is a film master. Yeah, I can't argue with that at all. If anybody's got any questions, just drop them in the chat. I'll probably stick about for an hour or whatever the questions last. Yeah, that's the thing, Wolfgratz. I'm 100% on other people's opinions. I'm not one to try and force my opinion down other people's throats. Everybody's their own individuals. They have their own tastes. They'll like things or they won't. And to be honest, it makes no difference to me because nobody's going to sway my opinion on a movie, and I don't expect to sway anybody else's. I may give a critical enough an argument to justify maybe watching it again and giving it a reassessment, but that's about the best I think you can hope for. Oh, the Kookaburg's here. Yeah, so you've mentioned that MOC has stopped being stocked HMV, and I believe that Powerhouse Movies, the Indicator range, has stopped being stocked as well. I don't know if there's some kind of back-end deal that they're just not happy with. I know the last time that HMV went under or into administration, there was lots of problems with the boutiques, and I think they kind of got shafted a little bit and didn't get the money that they should have. So fair play on them holding back. And to be honest, a lot of the independents are doing great deals just now. So if you can buy from them, that's what I'll usually do. Or if I really have to, go to the dreaded Amazon, which I hate, and I hate that I still use it. Mike, good. Did you watch The Woman? Did you watch the new disc to see what you thought of it? I thought it was a great pickup, especially as it came with Offspring, which I love just as much. I think they're stocking the Powerhouse movies. Kuckerberg, I believe I've read that somewhere. Could be wrong. I usually am. Have I seen the 2007 Death at a Funeral, the original British movie? No, I have not. I've seen the remake, which I really did not like. I just didn't find it funny or entertaining. But I've heard that the British one is pretty good. Wolfgratz, you liked Heston in Touch of Evil? Yeah, that's a good one as well, actually. I can't really argue with that. That's a wonderful performance, even if he has been a Mexican. I still think it's terrific. So I've been spending all day watching movies, so I need a break. I think I watched 6 so far today. And this is a welcome break. I'll probably go and watch another one after this. What October releases am I most looking forward to? The Friday the 13th box set from Scream Factory. I am eagerly awaiting that. For some reason, I don't have Friday the 13th on Blu-ray. It's one of my favourite slashers. It looks like an amazing set. It was a big financial purchase, but I've went for it, and I am really eager about getting that. As for other releases in October, 976 Evil. I'm looking forward to Moon and Scorpio, 10 to Midnight. Those kind of slasher movies are the kind of things that I'm looking forward to getting in October. Dark City is good as well. Yep, Dark City is a fantastic movie. I really like that one. It's been a while since I checked it out, though. Alex the Bird, what movie do you think Michael Bay screwed up the most? Well, can I pick just one? I think his abysmal handling of the Transformers series is probably the worst, because I think the first movie is really good and really entertaining, and I think it just they get really muddled after that, to the point where logic goes out the window. It's cool special effects and things going boom, but other than that, they got progressively worse for me. Just movies that I couldn't get into, movies I hated being at the cinema to see. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I love in the original Transformers, they actually have holographic humans in the seats, so it didn't stand out, but they seemed to stop that after the first one, and it was just an interesting little thing they did to make it a little bit more realistic, and I liked that. Let's see, go back a little bit here. Yes, Jambo, 6 movies today. 5 Vinegar Syndrome titles. I'm just looking over at the pile, and 1 Netflix movie, which I've got about 20 minutes to go, which was horrifying, which was The Social Dilemma, which, it gave me something to think about. What are my favourite horror guilty pleasures? I think just in general, horror, horror fans are a little bit more forgiving in their liking of horror movies, because I watch some amount of crap and I give it passes because I think it's fun. It may have horrible acting, it may have poor set design, poor lighting, the boom pops in, but if they've got good kills and there's a sense of energy and creativity about the movie, I'll generally really like it. But I'm trying to think of like really renowned crappy horror movies that I love. I don't think of them as crappy, so that's probably the problem, but I'm sure there's plenty out there. Best horror guilty pleasures. I can't think. Have I ordered Made in Hong Kong? Yes, I have. That movie looks amazing. I know nothing about it. I finally remembered to order it the other day on my quest to get all the Masters of Cinema titles. I'm missing 15 at the moment. And there's nothing particularly hard to get. There's no out of print ones, so we'll get them all at some point, but I'm trying to keep up to date with all the new releases. Jumbo Sleepwalkers, yeah. I was toying with getting that, but I recently just watched it on streaming and I don't know if I want to drop that money on it straight away, but Sleepwalkers is pretty great. It's batshit crazy, but I like that. I like when a movie's completely bonkers. Fun. Mike, Get Deeper You Dig from Arrow. I actually spoke to the filmmaker. He hooked me up with a screener of that last year. There's a review on the channel somewhere, and amongst the rest of the movie reviews that I've got up there. And the guy was really cool. He was the main actor in it as well. He did it with his wife and his kid. They've done a couple of movies. And I really kind of liked Deeper You Dig. I thought it had some really good moments. But I may pick up at some point. Kuckerberg, you're looking for the late Mizoguchi set. I don't know if you're on the Blu-ray forum, but somebody was on that yesterday trying to sell it. And I'll just decline that phone call. Somebody was on the Blu-ray. And it's going again. There we go. Hang on 1 second. So that was a tech desperate daughter looking to get some advice on how to do something. Let's see, back to the questions. Where am I? Yeah, I was saying, Blu-ray forum, somebody was selling the Mizoguchi set. And I think you can go in there and maybe they might still have it if you're lucky. They weren't looking for a bad amount of money for it either. I see a lot of folk just hating on Michael Bay stuff. I mean, I don't hate Michael Bay. As Father Stack says, The Rock's great. I really like The Rock. I like Bad Boys. I like Armageddon. All these kind of movies are incredibly fun. And I think he just kind of lost it with the CGI a little bit. I wish he would do some stripped back movies. Not go crazy over the top with the action of that, because I think he's pretty decent if he's reined in a little bit. The Kuckerberg, yeah, we're having to wait for a little while for Little Monsters. That's a great movie. If anybody hasn't seen it, that's pretty fun. What did I think of Bohemian Rhapsody? I really like that movie, but I think it's primarily because of the music. The music's amazing. That drives the movie forward and makes it super entertaining. I think the performances are all good, especially the end of it. And that it doesn't dig deep into the history of Freddie Mercury or Queen, but I don't mind that. I kind of know most of it. I just wanted like a fun toe-tapping movie, and that's what I got. BJ London finally watched Locke. Yeah, that's a really good movie. It's a hard one to sell to people. You know, Tom Hardy in a car for 90 minutes, but I think it's worth the effort. Yeah, I think Wolfgratz, I was just reading your comment about the MOCs and you're not fussed about getting them all. I think that is part of my OCD of being a collector. The numbered ranges are something that really get to me, and I have the compulsion to try and get them. And financially, it's extremely hard to do. The MOCs is the one that I'm closest to, and as yet, I've not found a bad movie in the bunch, which is amazing, and I'm looking forward to checking out more of them. Let's see where we are. Yep. Oh yeah, just laughing at my daughter. Just she actually try to watch Britain's Got Talent. So I don't know where I went wrong on that one. What movie from Peter Jackson is the goriest? I like Dead Alive. I think that's the best. The moment when he comes in with the lawnmower at the end and just starts destroying people, it never fails to bring a smile to my face. I think it's amazing. I love it. I would love a 4K transfer of that movie, particularly. Even just like stripping back a lot of the gore. The moment with the custard, with the blood in the ear and things, is one of the most disgusting, gory moments, because it's really well directed and just, yeah, quite tactile. Wolfgratz, you thought Bohemian Rhapsody was good fun, not overly accurate. Yeah, it wasn't, and I think that's the main criticism to it. You look at other movies like Rocketman, which was a little bit more showing the bad side of things, but to be honest, Bohemian Rhapsody was just fun, and that's all I wanted. Stewie Nui is watching The Howling 3 at the moment. What's my favourite werewolf movie? Yeah, that's a difficult one, because do you know what? I really do like The Beast Must Die. Since I discovered it on TV, including the Wolf Break, I think that film is immensely entertaining. I absolutely love that. Close Call, I love Dog Soldiers as well. That's a terrific one. The Howling, the original, is amazing. So many good werewolf ones. I really am kind of partial to Silver Bullet as well. That one is one that I go back to quite a lot, and I really do like it. Let's see, what else do we have here? So, Brain Dead, yeah, Dead Alive, otherwise known as Brain Dead. But I just watched a movie last night called Brain Dead that came out in the 90s with Bill Paxton and Bill Pullman, and that was bonkers, absolutely bonkers. Never heard of it. It was like a living nightmare watching that movie. Really unsettling. I don't know if anybody else has seen Brain Dead, but that was wild. So, Paige, your partner just got you the Full Metal Jacket Steelbook. That's a great present. Wonderful. Have you seen Full Metal Jacket before, or is this going to be your first time? If I could be complete, lost it. Chris, if I could be complete in any label, which one would it be? See, that's a hard one, because do I go for Masters of Cinema because I'm only needing 15, or would I pick something like Criterion because there's 1,000 discs? Is it a hypothetical? Is the Blu-ray fairy going to deliver them? Me, I'd be quite happy to keep up with either Masters of Cinema or Indicator, two labels that I think are doing some amazing movies. Father Stack, you like Buried? I think Buried is pretty great as well. I just wish it had a happier ending. Oh, Wolf Cop. I didn't mention Wolf Cop. That's blah blah. I said that. Wolf Cop's tremendous. I think that's a movie that knows exactly the kind of movie that it wants to be and leans into all the silliness that it has to offer. And I think it's wonderful because of it. I think the sequel goes even further. And it's just great. Let's see. Stewie Nui, Dog Soldiers is one of your favourite films. And Gary Busey is amazing in Silver Bullet, yep. Chris, you're asking the tough questions. Yep, Wolfgrat's the one with the wolf break. That's the bit that sticks with everybody with the beast must die. Father Stack, you watched Elvira, Mistress of the Dark last night. That's a favourite of mine's. I remember catching that on TV late one night in the 90s, and I didn't know what the hell it was, whether it was supposed to be funny or silly. And it was both. And I think Cassandra Peters, who plays Elvira, has a rich understanding of knowing what makes that character so lovable and watchable. And I think she leans into every element of it and creates a truly amazing character. Paige, you've got it in Blu-ray, but you've now got on 4K. I think that's great. That's a 4K that I would pick up as well, to be fair. BJ London, have I seen Rear Window? Rear Window, along with Rope, is one of my favourite Hitchcock movies. In fact, give me 1 second. Because I recently just picked up this is the Italian 4K Hitchcock set. It's got Vertigo, The Bird, Psycho, and Rear Window on it. The reason I picked this one up is purely down to price. It was £27 as opposed to the UK's price of £60, and the discs are exactly the same, and they all have the same features, and they're all in English. The menus are all in English. Perfectly fine. Just a £33 difference in price, and the titles are in Italian, but that doesn't really bother me. I'll take the price difference for that because I'm kind of cheap. So the Kookaburg, you watched Train to Busan the other night. That is an amazing movie. I'm quite looking forward to watching Peninsula, the sequel that's out. I haven't heard anything about it. I should check out some of the reviews. If you haven't seen it, Seoul Station, the animated prequel, is wonderful. Really good, really different, and just shows how the outbreak started and the people involved with it. Wolfgratz, you liked Elvira, but the sequel was quite as good, though. Wasn't quite as good. I haven't seen the sequel to that. I have heard of it, but I just haven't come across it at any point. So, Father Stack, you watched a really interesting film called Freeze Frame with Lee Evans. And he was good in it. And it was a £1.50 buy from CEX. I love when you get a bargain and it turns out to be a great movie. And I agree with you, Rope is an amazing movie. If anybody hasn't seen that, or even like Rear Window, I would highly suggest checking them out. They're just utterly wonderful. What do you have? Paige loves the birds and Vertigo. BJ Linda hasn't seen Rope. Yep, definitely check it out. It's well worth checking out. So the Kookaburg says that Vertigo is his favourite Hitchcock. So Dennis, you've seen Peninsula, have you? And it's a spin-off more than a sequel, a Fast and Furious zombie movie. I could be interested in that. Wolfgratz says that Rope is very effective, apart from the long atmospheric takes. As usual, Stuart is very good. I think it's excellent. I love the opening and the fact that it's just staged with these mega long takes and the build-up of suspense. These two students that think they're outsmarting their old college professor, but they're just not smart enough. Chris Mohan, have you got a White Whale set, a release that you missed out on that you'd love to pick up someday for a reasonable price? Yep. I would like the Halloween complete set, which I missed out on. It's the American version. I would love to have had that because I quite like Halloween. There's one I missed out this year because I was being more cautious. It was the Bliss set from Eureka. I think the film was great. And I didn't buy it because I had seen the movie not long before that and I didn't envisage myself watching it anytime soon. And I made that New Year's resolution where if I buy a disc, I have to watch the disc as quickly as I can after buying it to make it worthwhile. So I wasn't building up all these collections of movies and they were just gathering dust and wasting money. So I didn't buy it, and I thoroughly regret it because I really love the movie. I would like to have the special edition. I'm sure there's others as well that I would have liked to have that I can't think off the top of my head. There is a couple of slipcovers too in the Masters of Cinema series that I am missing, and that haunts my nightmares. Favorite watching experience? Mine's would be showing Society to a group of friends. I'm watching them freak out. Society is 60 minutes, just a weird, typical TV movie, and then the shunting happens and it turns into something completely different. I agree with you. That is a wonderful pick. My favourite would be, let's see, the movie I've showed the most to people is probably The Guest, because I just wanted to see how they were going to react to it, because it's a movie that acts like one kind of movie when it's really another, and it never lets on what it is. And I love just to see how the tone changes and how people react to the different action set pieces or the characters or what they're doing or the crazy stuff like that. The Guest was one that I showed to several people when they come over. I was just like, how long are you here? Right, The Guest, it's going on. Where are we? Yep, blah blah. Rope does do a great illusion of a one take. Paige went to the cinema in Blackpool last night. The last night opened in 1921, and it hasn't changed. You watched Gremlins. Father Stack, The White Whale is the story of my life. And how much is that going for? I don't think I've heard of that one before. So Danny C's popped in and he's asking me my favourite Scorsese, which is easy. I am going to just say straight away it is Goodfellas. It's a movie that is obvious. It's probably one that a lot of people would say, but that doesn't diminish the power that the movie has. I think for the length of the movie, it is super quick. It's really engaging. It's charismatic with mostly all of its characters, regardless of how horrifying some of their actions can be. It spans a number of years and tells a wonderful story. And it's one of those movies that even if I catch it midway through, I'm watching it. I put it on, I'm engaged and lost in it. You can't snap me away from it. I think that is my favourite Scorsese. Lynch, on the other hand, I wouldn't say I'm fully versed in Lynch. There's a lot of his movies that I haven't seen, and I'm not comfortable giving an answer in that one because, like I said, I haven't seen enough of these movies to really judge it. And it's been a while since I've seen things like Eraserhead or the Twin Peaks movie or things like that. You know, it's been a long while. So I think we'll just leave that just now. BJ London watched Mr. Church starring Eddie Murphy. Yeah, I heard he gave a great performance in that movie. Let's see. Kuckerberg picked up Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, from a charity shop for £1. And you've never seen any of her flicks. Right, okay. It's great. It's great. It's fun. Tongue-in-cheek horror. Some good effects. Yeah, Chris, it's the collector's curse. We all panic about silly little things. Those 2 slipcovers, I'm going to end up buying them at some point for a crazy price. And as much as I'd like to say I'm not going to, I know I'm going to do it. It's that compulsive nature of just being silly. I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy it. And I'll feel terrible after I do it. Paige, isn't it weird how the remake of Halloween didn't come out on UK on Blu-ray? You bought the German Steel, but did it not? I thought it did. Surely it must have. The recent one, the 2018 remake. Blah blah. Did I pick up Parasite in 4K? WebHD have it for £13 still? No, I did not. Finances are extremely tight at the moment. I always find the latter half of the year, from about October onwards, I'm just broke. There's so many good deals. There's so many things that I want that I've bought. Luckily, I've been paying in advance for some things like Dawn of the Dead. Unfortunately, the Scream sets with Amazon.Canada, I think. So that's still to come out. There's releases from Eureka, Arrow, from Powerhouse, all going into like November as well now. This is just a horrible time of year. And I stupidly, fear of missing out, went and bought the Gamera set as well, which was pricey enough. That took up pretty much all my cash. So no, I didn't pick up Parasite in 4K, but it would be one I would definitely pick up at some point. If it's that price, it'll be that price again, I hope. The Devil Inside and Tucker and Dale vs. Evil are a couple of films that Father Stack shows to everybody. The Devil Inside, I don't think I've seen. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is wonderful. It is truly a wonderful movie, really changing the slasher roundabout. So these two hillbillies look like they're typical slashers, but really they're the victims in this bonkers comedy. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And the Kookaburra would kick a toddler in the ribs for a Parasite steelbook. Good to have priorities in place. Wolfgratz, you narrowly rated Taxi Driver above Goodfellas the last time, but you may well be wrong. There's no right answer in these things, just personal preference. I've seen you ranking, I think Tarantino's the worst for me, where I'll put his movies in order and then I'll watch another one and I'll be like, no, that's the best. That's the one that is now my number one until I watch the next one. Yeah, Father Stack says watching Hellraiser earlier made him miss practical effects. I love practical effects. I think they are far superior than any CGI option. I think the biggest grievance I have with it was the Thing remake, where they did all the effects practically and then put CGI over the top of them for some reason. And I have no idea why they did that. One of the most crazy things I've ever heard of. BJ London, Blow versus Donnie Brasco. I think I'm going to go Brasco in that one because of the joint performances of both Depp and Pacino. I think they're both wonderful. But I do quite enjoy Blow as well. Let's see. Rod says he found Escape from New York official soundtrack in Falkirk Charity Shop yesterday for £2.50. You should be tough with that. That's a great soundtrack in that one. Wolfgratz is vexed with the new foreign postage fees. Yeah, the one thing that holds me back from importing a lot of stuff is really the price of the postage and packaging, the VAT charges, all that bonker stuff. I quite like my Vinegar Syndrome because they get everything to me without charges. The postage is really reasonable. I get a package once every 3 months. And there's a little segment on their site where I can order stuff from other companies, whether it be Criterion or Arrow or whatever. Let's see, Gary Clark, what's my ranking of the 11 Star Wars films? Episode 1 to 9, Solo, and Rogue One. Okay, keep me right here. So we'll start last. So let's see, that's episode 3. No. Yep. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, would be last. Then it would be episode 9. The latest one, wasn't particularly a fan of that. Then it would probably be episode 3. Then episode... No, I'd maybe go Solo. Where am I? Solo, and then I would put episode 7, 1, Rogue One, and then let's see, 4, 6, 4, and 1. So Empire first, in case you missed out on that. I don't even know where I was in that, but if you can follow that at all. Are you tempted to get or collect European boutiques. I really like Art House in Germany. That's from blah blah. I'm trying not to, because I've already got enough UK ones that I really don't need to be compulsive about other labels. I started with the Vinegar Syndrome titles as well. And to be honest, finances, space are the two biggest obstacles to collecting movies for me just now. And sooner or later, someone's going to have to give. Father Stack, you lost out in the Gamera box set. Did you try on eBay? I take it all the scalpers have snapped up all the good deals and are now charging ridiculous prices. Although Arrow are releasing a standard box set next year. Blah, blah, the Gamera set was too much and you'd know where to put it. Yeah, you'll see in some of my other videos, it's just sitting on top of a bunch of Arrow movies next to the Herschel Gordon Lewis set, which is much the same size. The Kuckerberg Arrow Academy is putting out a Shoei Imamura set. Yep. Curious, but I do have all the movies on, or not, the only one there is the Ballad of Narayama. I do have that on MOC collection. I've got a bunch of other Imamura on MOC, and I've got that strange reprint set that they did as well, because I'm weird. I bought that thing again, but I think that goes for silly prices now. Father Stack says Jackie Brown usually stays at number one. Usually, my number one is always Inglourious Bastards. I think that's like a movie just nailed. It was perfect. Let's see, where are we? Tango Mike. I love most genres of movies, but westerns are one of my favourites. Clint Eastwood is a legend. Unforgiven, you watch that at least twice a month. Now that's dedication. Yeah, I love westerns as well. I think they're tremendous. I think one of my favourite discoveries the past couple of years in westerns was the Bud Bodeker set in Randolph Scott from Indicator, which was, it's where it solidified my love for Indicator's box sets, because I'd never heard of it. I got it and I devoured the movies in that. They were just incredibly entertaining. They were more layered than I was expecting, and they were pretty great. And especially this one that was released this year from Eureka, The Specialists. What a movie that was. If you haven't seen that, that's well worth getting. Father Stack's only seen one Star Wars film. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I loved the original 3 when I was growing up. They were my kind of movies. But I've kind of watched them that many times that I put them away. And the newer ones never quite lived up to what I was hoping for. It never captured that magic for me. I enjoyed them when I watched them, but it's never been something that I've been compelled to go back and check out multiple again. Let's see. Danny, what is my personal favourite Kubrick movie? Yours is Barry Lyndon. Good choice. Mine's is going to be The Shining. Horror roots. I think he's a master filmmaker. I think all these movies are great. Just, I'm a horror guy. The Shining's the one I'm going to choose. The Kuckerberg says Brian Chenchard Smith claims that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is QT's best film of all time. No. No, I just can't agree with that. Like I said, it's all personal opinions. If he loves it that much, I think that's great. Me, everything to do with Margot Robbie's character is superfluous to the story. It detracts from the main story, which is the two guys, and nothing happens with her, literally. And for the first watch, it's a great surprise, and it's interesting. But when you're watching it a second and third time, all her scenes, are leading to nothing, and therefore become nothing, just adding a detractful information, holding back on the characters that I loved and wanted to see more of. So for that, it was a big markdown for me. In fact, I would always put Once Upon a Time in Hollywood right at the bottom of QT, just right next to Death Proof and that, just above it. But all these other movies were way above that movie for me. A bit of a letdown. Mike, have I opened the Battles Without Honor and Humanity box set that's on my shelf? Now, this is a problem. This is a huge issue that I have being a collector. Perceived value of a product. So I have I have Donnie Darko. Say Donnie Darko. I have Donnie Darko. It's been sitting on my shelf for years. I've seen the movie umpteen times. I love it. I have the set. It's sealed, and there is a perceived value on top of it. So I'm scared to open it. And I don't open it. It's the same with Battles Without Honor and Humanity, because of the value. And I am weirdly inclined. I would go and search elsewhere to watch the movies rather than watching the discs on those. And I know it's a weird compulsion, and I know it's psychologically just wrong. But I can't break that habit that I have with certain things. Funny story about the Donnie Darko. I have several daughters. One of them went in one day and was absent-mindedly just picking away at it and opened it up, and it lost its value. And did I bother? Not particularly, because she didn't know any better. And it's not the end of the world. She just opened a package that was sitting on a shelf. Yet I can't seem to do it myself. Paige has just built a cinema in her cellar and a games room. I am jealous. I have been hounding to have the garage turned into a cinema for years. I think my wife fears that if that happens, I'll never come out of it. And there's a huge possibility that is what would happen. Let's see, where are we? Movies you got to see. BJ London, movie he's got to see before he dies. E.T., Star Wars, Jaws, Harry Potter, Halloween. Is there any blockbusters I haven't seen? I'm sure there must be. But asking me just now off the top of my head, I can't think of anything particular. Blockbusters was one of the things, it's always on TV. You can always catch it somewhere. And there's some movies that you just never get round to. I can't think of any big glaring blockbuster gaps in my movie watching. Let's see. Wolfgratz, Barry Lyndon is beautiful. But you have issues with Ryan O'Neill. And the Kuckerberg was surprised by Eastwood's The Mule last year. It was better than you were expecting it. I've not seen that one, and I find some of Eastwood's directing choices, his career, are very hit and miss. So I tend not to watch everything. The Kuckerberg's favourite Kubrick is Clockwork Orange. Good pick. Wolfgratz just upgraded his Shining copy. I think that's to 4K. I've looked at that myself several times. Paige says The Departed is awesome. The Departed is awesome. That's a wonderful movie. BJ London, you haven't seen The Shining. Rate out of 10. 11. Let's go with 11 on that one. I think that is a movie that is just meticulously put together and is awesome, with some wonderful performances and a real sense of atmosphere and dread. Let's see. The Kuckerberg, he hates opening sets that have gone out of print. I know I'd never sell them, but it bothers me devaluing them. That's exactly my mindset. I get something. I just hold this up and I'm like, say this is worth £300, and I'm like, I'm never going to sell it, but I don't want to open it and enjoy it. It seems rather pointless, but it's a strange mindset. I can stand back and look at that and go, it doesn't make sense. I still do it anyway. Wolfgratz said The Killing is underrated. Yeah, agree with that. Yeah, Mike, you always see that set and you wish you'd got it. I got it when it came out. Didn't have any kind of knowledge about it whatsoever. I just had some cash at the time and bought it, and the prices just went up and up and up on that one, and I can't believe it. Let's see, where are we now? The Kuckerberg says Mean Streets is his favourite. That's a good choice. Wolfgratz, you need to be in the right mood for Dark Star, a peach ball mood. Yeah, Dark Star's one of those ones you need to be in the right mood for it. I do love Carpenter. I think all these movies. Yeah, I even don't mind The Ward. I don't think it's great, but it's not a bad movie. Father Stack, you may have to give The Shining another go. Yeah, I'd always encourage people to go and give The Shining a go. And Dennis is saying that Eastwood as an actor is great, but as a director is very hit and a miss. Indeed. I never saw the train one, whatever time it was to Paris, but that looked and sounded awful. So Shamrock's there. Did I buy the Nightmare on Elm Street HMV exclusive? No. And I've heard it's the same discs. There's no upgrade. There's no change on it. It's just the same old discs that were out before. I was hoping for like a great set, like something like the Scream set for Halloween, like a UK equivalent or even an American equivalent where they just go and make a great version of it. But no, I didn't buy it. And I don't think it's limited, and I think it will probably drop in price at some point. I don't have it on Blu-ray, so I need to get Nightmare on Elm Street at some point. Blah, blah. You always open sets and Blu-rays. You had a film once that was missing a disc. Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. Wolfcrats, you open everything immediately, fooling yourself about the backlog. Well, I stack all my new purchases to the side of my shelves, and that's my watch pile, and I just work my way through it until I've watched them all. And if it gets too big, I have to stop buying. It's as simple as that. At the moment, it was getting out of hand. This week has really helped things a lot because I've been isolating and I've been watching movies from Monday to today. I think I've watched 34 so far, which is bonkers, I know, but I've got nothing else to do but sit and watch TV. Wolfcrats, everybody complained about the train one that Eastwood did. Yeah, no worry. Yep, Dennis is confirming that the Nightmare on Elm Street is just the same discs and new packaging. Danny C. Have I managed to watch A Fistful of Dynamite? It blew me away. Ba-bum. One of Leone's best. I've seen it years ago. I've not opened my set yet. I will get to that. It's one that I know I like anyway. It's been a good number of years since I revisited it. I'm hoping the transfer is good. Rank the Ghoulies films, if I've seen them all. Big guilty pleasures. I've seen 1, 2 and Go to College. I would rank them 3, 1 and 2. There you go. Manhunter versus Red Dragon Fast. That's Manhunter all the way. That's an easy one. That's a softball. There's no decision making there at all. Michael Mann's Manhunter is way better than Red Dragon. Red Dragon's competent. Manhunter is more nuanced and layered. Shamrock says that Casino would probably be his favourite Scorsese. The one he made about Jesus was brilliant too. The Last Temptation of Christ. I quite like Casino. Again, it feels like Goodfellas, but not as well made as that. I do the standout scene with that is the two guys getting beat up with the baseball bats and then thrown into the graves, still alive. That's a haunting sequence. Pages, did I know Mind Reaper was meant to be The House of Eyes 3? Yes, I did. I read that somewhere a while back. I picked that up from 88 Films. Saw it ages ago. When I say I've seen it, we're talking the 90s, and I haven't revisited it as yet. I'm hoping it's that remind me if I'm being right here, but that's the one with the guy with the thing comes out the head and kills people that way. So Dennis puts all his new movies into the collection, no matter if he's seen them or not. I can't do that because if I put them in there, I forget about them. I'm already trying to work through a backlog of movies. This was the year of the disc. I made a decision that I was going to watch as many discs as I possibly could out of my collection. Not for any other reason than I feel that I was buying stuff just to buy it and I wasn't using it. And that is a waste of money. So I think I tallied up to date, and I'm just over 200 discs watched this year, which I'm really happy with. I'm actually watching more than I'm buying, so I'm eating through some of my backlog as well. It makes me feel much better about being a collector. Father Stack, he loves Manhunter, and Brian Cox is amazing, and he's from Dundee, same as Brian Cox. I think Brian Cox is vastly underappreciated as Hannibal Lecter because of Anthony Hopkins' performance, but I think Cox is better. The Kuckerberg has a watch pile with 100 to 200 titles, some that were purchased up to 5 years ago, and you still keep buying more. That's the kind of situation I was at. My watch pile got to a situation where it was getting kind of heavy. I had about 40 titles there, but I've started watching them all, getting through them. I felt that was a necessity that I had to do. So I'm confident. I've picked up a couple more this week when I've been off. I've got Made in Hong Kong coming in, and something else I can't even remember that I bought the other day. No, can't remember what it is at all. Carol Massey, you saw Warlock the other day. That's a great Western. Hey, Carol. Warlock, when I think of Warlock, I'm thinking of the Julian Sands one from the late 80s. Am I thinking the right thing? Danny C, Carrie versus The Shining. The Shining. I like Carrie, but I prefer The Shining. Kuckerberg picked up Piranha 2. No idea why you had the DVD beforehand and you knew it was tripe. I like bad movies. And I don't think there's any shame in that either. Like knowing if a movie's not polished, but having enjoyment out of it. I think if you get enjoyment out of something, it's got value for you. You know, I think the Piranha 2 disc, they've got a short license on that as well. I believe it's like a year, and then it's gone, never be reprinted. So you're going to be able to sell that thing if you want. If you keep it sealed, it might be worth more if you ever actually do sell it. But yeah, I kind of liked Piranha 2. It's not great, but I like the silliness. Wolfcratch watched 500 new films last year. That's impressive. But you're not reduced the backlog much, if at all. I think I've watched just over 400, I think, this year. What's the film with, what's the question here? That's Firestack. What's the film with Irwin Furlong and he plays a virtual reality video game? Brainstorm is the one with he commits the murders and he actually has and unleashes an evil spirit from the game. Yeah, that was quite good. I quite like that. Oh, Kuckerberg's answered it. BJ London bought his girlfriend the Before Sunrise trilogy, although it was really for you. Yeah, that's a great purchase. That's a wonderful set. One that I will have to get at some point. 3 tremendous movies. Just perfect, really. And there's Dennis with a confession. He doubts he's even put 10 actual discs in his player this year. Yeah, he keeps buying. Yeah, we've all been there. So Carol's answered that. Warlock is Henry Fonda, Richard the Windmark. Okay, no, I haven't seen that one, but it's funny that you mentioned Warlock, and I go straight to the late 80s Richard E. Grant, Julian Sands horror masterpiece. Stewie Newey loves bad movies as well, hence the Ghoulies question. Let's see. Kuckerberg says he loves bad movies too. He loves Troll 2, the Super Mario Brothers movie, but Piranha 2, can't see it getting many repeat viewings. Oh, come on, it's incredibly silly. The moment where the piranha swims out of the corpse after it's been kept in a fridge for countless days, yet it's still alive. That kind of nonsense. It needs repeat viewings. Father Stack's really picked up on film watching. I tend to go through fits and starts with it as well. You know, sometimes it's a slog to put a movie on. Sometimes you just want to watch one after another. I was doing was doing something secret and special for my channel this week from Monday to Friday, and I was watching certain movies for a certain reason, and I found that really enjoyable, having a set pattern to what I was doing. Now I came to today and I could just watch whatever I wanted. I had trouble choosing until I watched one earlier on that just completely threw me off my stride. I couldn't put another movie on after it. I had to go and think, and just because the movie was The Candy Snatchers. I should always say the title, don't bury it. And that was one of those movies that just kind of left me scratching my head, feeling a little bit grimy and dirty after it, and I didn't want to go into another movie after that. Let's see. Bone Storm. Did I say Bone Storm? Brain Scan. Brainstorm. Yeah, Brain Scan. I haven't seen that in a couple of years, actually. I might have to dig that out. And blah blah, loved Super Mario Brothers in the cinema. That's a movie I've been threatening to rewatch in the longest while. Has anybody seen that recently? I wonder how awful it truly is. I remember quite a bit about it, the whole slime, conscious slime on the walls and things like that. The Cookerbird, can't wait for Eureka's 976 Evil. That's a great So Bad It's Good movie. See, this is one that I can't really remember. I've ordered it. I know I have seen 976 Evil 2 a hell of a lot, but I can't really remember much about the first one, so I'm curious. And Paige she likes Piranha 2, but she bets James Cameron wants to forget he made it. Oh, I'm sure he does as well. Father Stack watched Identity with Ray Liotta. So did I. I watched it a week or two ago. And then the ending happened, and you've not been as mad at an ending in as long time. I've come to terms with the ending. I think the movie is really well set up, and I think the whole conceit behind it is a nice idea. But yeah, the ending kind of just needs to shave that little 30, 40 seconds off it. I don't think Brain Scan has no, it doesn't have a UK Blu-ray, I don't think. Wolf Rats, never mind Piranha, you've been trying to get Titanic for years. Oh, man. Right, have we any more questions? Are we keeping this train rolling, or? So let's see. Paige has got over 5,000 movies on iTunes, and probably just as many physical. Being disabled, it's easier just watching them on your 4K Apple box. I used to be at the stage where if something was in Netflix, I would watch it rather than walking a few feet and getting the disc, because I'm lazy. But I managed to shake that off and go and get the disc sometimes. Father Stack Brain Scan and DVD, but sold it during a skint month. I think we've all been there. Only Scream Factory has Brain Scan, turned into a Brain Scan live stream, which isn't a bad thing. I really want to see that movie now. The Cookerberg watched The Man Who Laughs recently from Eureka, a beautiful silent flick. And you watched my review, thanks. Yeah, that was a fantastic movie. Overshadowed a little bit by the whole Joker thing. But man, so emotional and such great acting just with eyes. Seeing that huge smile and the heartbreak in the eyes was wow, great. Let's see, favourite box set. Yours is the Phantasm Arrow one that came with the ball. Let's see, my favourite box set is probably my Hitchcock set. If I was in my own house, I would show you it. But it's about that. It's 16 discs, and it comes in little film canisters all the way along it. It's got a book with it, all these art cards and all this jazz and blah, blah, blah. And that's been my favourite set for years. I got it a while back. It was quite pricey when it came out. And I remember I was out with a couple of friends one day. We were drinking, had a bit too much to drink. One went to the bathroom, one went to the bar, left me alone, and being the antisocial person that I was, went on to a website and noticed it had been reduced to about £45 and ordered it immediately. And was really surprised when it turned up at my door because I couldn't remember ordering it. And I'm glad I did. Let's see. Blah blah watched Sunrise today. Normally not into silent films, but loved it. The Czech version you watched. Sunrise is awesome. Sunrise is an amazing movie with great sort of visual flair as well. I noticed when I started getting into silent movies, I figured they were all going to be like really static, really dragged out and long and boring and blah blah blah. But that had a real emotional heart to it as well. It had all these nice little touches with the moment with the guy sitting in the bed and then the ghostly figure of the woman kind of putting the arms around about him, which was wonderful, and really nice shots, and it was quite action centric with the whole boat ride at the end and things. It was wonderful. Father Stack loves his Columbo box set. I love Columbo. Big fan of that. Is that the cigar box set? I take it. That's Columbo's wonderful. Let's see, Stu now he's doing his photography coursework on film noir and German expressionism. The Man Who Laughs is brilliant. Yep. I take it you've already watched Caligari. Sitting Under Lonely Are the Brave to your right, Wolfcats. I don't think I've heard of that one actually. The Kuckelberg has the Shock and Gore, the Herschel Gordon Lewis set, still sealed, and OCD won't let him open that up. Yep, I'm glad we're all kind of there as well. That's getting reprinted actually. It's coming out. Any Old Port in a Storm, best Columbo episode. I don't know if that one rings a bell with me. I remember watching season 1 and being surprised that Spielberg did the pilot episode. But yeah, love it. Let's see. Wolfgratz Sunrise is a great film and he loves some Murnau. Wolfgratz, the Columbo is another in the waiting list. It's turning into a catalogue of your omissions. Paige wants the Dexter box set with the blood slides. I had a friend that had that and I think he sold it for like a really cheap price and I wish I had bought it off him at the time. I love Dexter. That's such a cool addition as well. Carol's got the Flesh and Blood Corrieda set to get into and a bunch of others, Carol, movies that you've got, yeah? Yeah, Stu now seen Caligari. That was a wonderful movie. Here's a tricky one. Danny C. De Palma versus Scorsese. Okay, so I think it's easy enough to say that Scorsese is the better filmmaker. Scorsese has the better filmography. But I really like De Palma because he leans a lot into things I love, whether it be Hitchcock, Giallo, or those kind of twisted thrillers with a sexual edge to them. He was into that. I think De Palma's a really good filmmaker. I think I'm going to have to go with Scorsese, but it's close for me. De Palma's great, and if you haven't seen it, watch the De Palma documentary. Wonderful. It's just the guy talking through his career. Sometimes he'll talk seconds in a movie. Sometimes he'll talk a lot in a movie. Sometimes he gives these anecdotes that are just hilarious. There's one where he talks about a movie and he had an argument with somebody, and that person gave their point and he gave his point, and then he did what he wanted, and he just finishes it off with, and you know what? I was right. And it just tells you a lot about the man. I think he's wonderful. Let's see. A lot of people saying Caligari is fantastic. It is. Wolfgratz used to like Dexter a lot. The last couple of seasons, not so much. I think common knowledge, or I think we can all agree that season 4 was the pinnacle of Dexter. The Kuckelberg got the Kiki's Delivery Service 30th anniversary. Yep, that's an amazing set. I know Luke got that. He was showing it off the other day to me. He's pretty proud of that. I've still got that to watch. Luke from Razor Wire Reviews and I are working on something to do with Ghibli, and that is the next movie on the list that we're going to be talking about, actually. Stu, Nosferatu is probably your favourite German expressionism film. I haven't seen that as yet. I've seen the Herzog remake with Klinsky, but I have not watched the original, although I do have it. It's one that I need to get to sooner or later. Let's see, Stu he says Scorsese easily, but De Palma's films are great throwbacks and tributes to other films. That's, like I said, Scorsese I feel is the better filmmaker, but I get a lot of enjoyment out of De Palma's movies. Blah blah didn't rate De Palma, but liked the documentary about him. Paige is asking what I think about Tom Hardy being 007. You're not too happy? I can see it. I can see it because of Inception, particularly. And I wouldn't mind it personally. My own choice would be Fassbender, Michael Fassbender. I think he's a wonderful actor, and I think he would fit into the role perfectly. And for a complete left field choice, Scott Adkins. I think he's got it all. I think he's a good actor as well. I think he's got the action chops, and that's my 2 cents. Wolfgratz Nosferatu is brilliant. I don't need to get to it. Kuckerberg, Scorsese is also a huge physical movie collector and owns thousands of movies in his collection. I bet you it's all like proper prints of movies, not just a Blu-ray, unopened Blu-ray collector. Tom Hardy would not be a good Bond, Father Stack. Why wouldn't he be a good one? I'm interested in your opinion on that. You prefer Scorsese, but Scorsese has never made a great horror movie as yet. Shutter Island? Would that maybe fall into a little bit of horror? Paige likes Tom Hardy, but not as 007. He's too much of a hard man, which I can kind of see. Plus, Bond is really quite articulate, and Tom Hardy likes to mumble. Blab, I would like to see James Norton as Bond. BJ London, no, I think it's been heavily touted that Tom Hardy would be Bond. It's not official as yet, I don't think. Have I missed something? The Kuckerbergs still have lots of MOC Fritz Lang titles to watch unopened at the moment. I'm with you there. I'll need to get into some of them pretty soon. The Blue Corner, Dennis, said that he's not sure that he believes Tom Hardy's the new Bond. He's too old. What age is Hardy? Because I think Daniel Craig's been at the job now for, 14 years, which is quite a bit, the longest serving Bond. And you really want somebody that's going to give a good 10-year stretch, maybe longer, because the movies, they're more production heavy now. So they don't get that 2-year hit of them. You want a good 3 years between them so that they're not rushing it, so you don't end up with something like Die Another Day. I love James Bond, by the way. And Paige is saying Tom Hardy mumbles most of the time. Father Stack mentions Bringing Out the Dead is Scorsese's worst film. Oh wow, I remember seeing that in the late 90s and loving it, but I've not seen it since. Shamrock's agreeing about A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's holding out for something special. You don't have it in Blu-ray. You believe it is limited. It's the same discs. I'm not that interested in it for that. Kuckerberg needs the Caligari Steelbook that Luke is selling. Well, message him. He'll probably still have it. He might be able to get it at a good price. Dennis said that Tom Hardy's 43. I think you want somebody in their 30s if possible. I think that was an inspired choice, and I think Craig's movies is possibly one of the best runs of movies, with the exception of Spectre, which I think is probably his worst. When have Bond ever cast an A-lister, though? They take lesser known people and make household names out of them. Hardy is there already. What recent movies has Hardy been front and centre, the lead actor, the main guy in? Because I can't think of too many. So this would be the push that he may need if he did take it. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Blah blah says Hardy will just be like Connery again, like he was with Bane. Bond. Bye, Paige. Kuckerberg says Tom Hardy would be awful as Bond. Wolfcrat's nearly bought Luke's Satin Tango, but the Blu-ray was fairly cheap. BJ London said Capone starring Tom Hardy was terrible. Yeah, I gave that one a miss. The look on that, Dennis Venom. Mad Max, I would argue against. I would say the movie's just as much Furios's as it is Max's. Batman, again, I wouldn't say he was the sole reason for going to see Batman. Venom, can't argue with that. Roger Moore was the Saint, though, and that was pretty big from what I'm told. Yeah, I think it was, but it was TV. It wasn't regarded as well back then. I kind of like Moore's. I like most of the Bonds, to be fair. And the Kuckerbergs, again, he's not a Bond fan, so he wouldn't be fussed. I'm a big Bond fan. But, I mean, whoever it's going to be, it's going to be. They're not going to ask me for my opinion. So, let's see. Wolfcratch, luckily Luke isn't selling his big kiki. You can still buy it. I think it's on Amazon for 50 quid. Blah, blah. Venom is big and he's filming another one. It was all right. Preferred upgrade. Let's see. Kuckerberg says Capone wasn't particularly good with Hardy. Hi, Alex. Dennis said he's already known for several franchises. He is. Tom Hardy is a household name. I just don't see him as... I think Bond's bigger than him. First, like Pierce Brosnan was big in the 80s in Remington Steele. Yeah, that kind of stopped him from getting the Living Daylights, which gave us Dalton's movies, which were wonderful. There's Alex straight in with the controversial opinion. Roger Moore was the worst Bond. No, I think Lazenby. Lazenby was the worst Bond. There you go. One movie. Didn't have a chance to really make his mark. I don't think the film is particularly great. I think what's good about it is not him. But can't go wrong with Her Majesty's Secret Service. Do you know, not one of my favourite Bond movies. It's good. I think it gets bogged up too much later on. I think Blofeld comes into that movie a little bit more physical than he should be. He should be the mastermind behind it all, not chasing Bond down a slope on skis trying to catch him. Stu says that Moore's his favourite Bond. I think it's the one he grew up with, isn't it, really? Brosnan was a TV star, made huge by Bond, yep. Favourite Bond actor? Daniel Craig. I think Daniel Craig does well, and he gets discounted a lot because he's the recent Bond. But I think he's given a lot more to do acting-wise within the series. There's a theme going through there of becoming Bond, becoming jaded, trying to be emotionally cold and stilted while still showing a bit of remorse in his actions, to ultimately becoming a little bit antiquated through the series and being dismissed because of his age. He's got more range within those 4 movies than the other actors really had to do. Father Stack wished that Timothy Dalton made more Bond movies. So do I. I wanted Property of a Lady, which was to be his third one, which should have come out in, was it 91, I think? Which I'm trying to get a hold of the script to read it, because I'd love to read that. And I think Dalton was wonderful, dark, a very different Bond. And I think he had 2 movies, and both movies were great. Alex saying that Moore was too cheesy. That was the movies that were made then. That was his style. And there's Alex coming out with On Her Majesty's Secret Service has the best theme tune. No, I'm going to disagree with that. My favourite theme tune, I think, is possibly You Know His Name from Casino Royale. I think it's probably my favourite. Carol says that Dalton is easily the best Bond. That makes it more human. I think if you look at Craig's Bond, it's particularly dark as well over the arc of the 4 movies that he did. I think they definitely tried to take it back to more Dalton-esque, but I think Dalton's is particularly good as well. Kuckerberg's currently trying to get the Prisoner from Cell Block H DVD collection. Simple pleasures, man. Let's see. Wolfgratz really liked On Her Majesty's Secret Service when he rewatched it. It's okay. I think everything with Countess Teresa is amazing. Diana Rigg is wonderful. I just feel that Blofeld should be the mastermind behind the scenes, the puppet master. He shouldn't be chasing Bond about or having a fist fight with him. It doesn't sit right. Telly Savalas, great actor, but he just shouldn't be chasing Bond down a hill and skis. It just shouldn't happen. And I think the whole bit up at the hotel, I think, drags on a little bit too long as well. Have I seen The Brood? Yes, The Brood's wonderful. And when you read the psychological nature behind it for Cronenberg, I think that speaks volumes as well. Let's see. So, I mean, I don't think there's a wrong answer you can give for your favourite Bond. Alex says that Dalton is the most realistic and best Bond. Let's see. Clive Owen was producer's first choice, but he turned it down for Casino Royale. In Croupier, he's fantastic and he would have been great. Yes, but I think Craig does a wonderful job as Bond. BJ London, Daniel Craig's done 5 because his 5th one, No Time to Die, is just about to come out. A View to a Kill is the favourite Bond song. That's a good one. I like that a lot. Father Stack's going to have to go. I won't be long behind you. I'm getting ready to finish up so I can go and watch another movie. I've got work early tomorrow. I'll see if I can do more live streams. I've got a hospital appointment at 8:10 on a Sunday morning. And you also say, I know your name is in your top 5 Bond themes. Alex coming out with, there hasn't been a decent Bond song since License to Kill. I don't think License to Kill is a good one. And I think GoldenEye is particularly great as well. Wolfrat's Casino Royale with David Niffen might be a dodgy answer. Oh, that's woeful. I struggled through that movie. I just couldn't connect with it at all. I didn't find it particularly funny. I think all the proceedings behind the scenes with the 5 directors, the cast not talking, just make it a troubled production. Kuckerberg, Air Doll finally got that Blu-ray release. Did it now? BJ London, you might as well say that Bond is a 10-year contract. Absolutely. Wolfgratz, normally they're empty on a Sunday. I'm sure it will be empty, but it's just a weird time to have an appointment. 8:10. What can I do? That's when it's for. And Carl says that Skyfall's theme's got that Bond sound perfectly. It really does. It's just the lyrics don't really make a lick of sense. But it's a great song. I really like it. And I think, do you know what, guys? I think that's going to be it for tonight. Really enjoyed just chit-chatting with you. It was super fun, hanging out, talking. I did get a bunch of questions for this, which I think I'm just going to do separate videos for, where I'll answer the questions. But I'm really glad you all turned up and had a good conversation. Just quickly, Alex, maybe controversial, but you like Never Say Never Again? Yeah, it's controversial because it's not really a Bond movie. It's not part of the E1 Productions, and it's a remake of Thunderball, and not even a patch on that movie. I can talk about Bond. That's the one thing I can chit-chat about. So thanks for watching, guys. I've had a great time. If you haven't done so, hit that like button for me, and maybe I'll do some more live streams, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.